Gong's AI theme spotter has been that feature that's been asked about during the duration of my time at Gong since joining in 2021. People love the concept of ask anything when we built this out for individual calls where you could ask, like, what are the next steps or what objections came up. Then they loved when we brought that to the deal and account level. But the real gold is being able to take all of Gong's data and unlock it with an ask anything type query across your entire data set. So for Gong, it's not just a recent call recording, but it's all historical emails, phone calls, web meetings. It can reference CRM data and other signals as well via things like MCP. So what this really gives you the power to do is to be able to search across your aggregate data set for any question that you have across your business. So just as an example here, you can go into this new analysis in the top right. You can create any new question. And then really the key is being able to filter this data set. So you might want to be able to silo it by a certain team, or maybe you only want to look at accounts that are a certain amount. We'll do deal value as an example, or ARR impact if we want to look at like 100K plus deals, or maybe we only want to look at early stage deals. And really the goal is to be able to come in here and break down this data set into the right set that we want to be able to query off of. So take a little bit of time, make sure you nail these filters. You can always hit add filters and reference anything in CRM here. Just search for it, things like industry or vertical or amount or stage, whether the deal turned closed won eventually or closed lost. You can do all of that to really get the right data set that you want to run that analysis off of. Now, when you exit out here, I'll show you some of the recent questions that were asked just across this demo environment. But I've had customers use this, especially cross-functionally. Think about product teams or engineering teams. They are so far away from voice of customer, and typically what they would do is they would rely on CRM inputs from sales reps. We know that's always going to be incomplete. It's going to be out of date. It's going to be biased. Or they try to run these user interviews and they might talk to, 0.5% of customers. And then whoever's the noisiest, right, gets to really bring their feedback to the top. This is a great way to be able to search across all customer conversations for anything that you would want to know across the business. I'll just use one as an example here. Let's look at like the most common objections, a pretty simple one. We set up a filter here to take a look at deals that turned closed lost. What were the most common objections that came up, right? So from an enablement perspective, this might be a question you would want to ask. It'll now break it down into the sub themes and actually bucket out as well the percentage of calls and percentage of deals that came up in. So I'm just going to filter by the percentage of deals. And what's really interesting here is the top objection was actually around like data security. In Gong's world, that's probably like, hey, our customer is going to let us record calls. But when we look at the amount, the one impacting the largest size of deals is actually around the implementation and just the cost and pricing, things like data migration, that hints that they might be coming from competitors and need to understand what that process looks like and all the costs. Knowing in a more predictable manner. So really, really helpful insight, right? If we know this is the most common objection, it's impacting almost $5 million of deals, we might want to run some enablement or training around it. We can then drill in and it's going to give us all of the details that you want to know. So it's going to break down a summary. It's going to link out the different details. And the best part about these different briefs here, it's linking back to specific accounts, specific calls, specific opportunities. If you want to tap in to voice of customer, hear those 23 calls where it came up as a concern, you click in, it'll bring you to that exact moment within the conversation. And then you can give it a quick listen here and then kind of go from there. So really, really quick way to get to the items that you want to. I've been loving running this just across the business for things like top feature requests from a product sense, things like top concerns or top objections, things specific to new products. So we have a new product over here at Gong, and I might want to know what are the top value points that customers are bringing up when it comes to Gong Enable as an example. Really, really great way to get those questions answered. Again, just come into new analysis up here, and really the key with it is being able to set up those filters to be able to look at only the calls that make the most sense for that relevant data set.